Lesson 28 today is about fractional parts of numbers and functional notation. Now, the first problem that we're looking at involves fractional parts of numbers, and the question is, 3/4 of what number is 69? Now, the key words that we have in this problem are of and is. What we need to know is that of means to multiply. Whenever we see that word of in a problem like this, it means multiply. And whenever we see the word is, that means equal to. So if we know those two things, we can go ahead and write out this sentence or question as an algebraic expression. We can say 3/4 of what number, 3/4 times Wn, is equal to 69. Now we can go ahead and solve. We know we want to get Wn by itself. We want to know what that number is equal to, right here. So we've got to move everything else to the other side. We've got to undo the multiplication of 3/4. So to undo the multiplication of 3/4, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. That's 4/3. We know that the 4's cancel, the 3's will cancel. We now have Wn, what number by itself, because this is all equal to 1. Now we're going to multiply 69 times everything we did on the left-hand side, times 4/3, and we really have 69 over 1. Let's go ahead and simplify before we multiply. We're going to rewrite first though. 69 over 1 times 4 over 3. Well, we know 3 can go into 69. 69 divided by 3 is going to have to be 23. So we're going to get 23 over 1. And then we can find out our answer by multiplying 23 times 4. We have 23 times 4. You've got this with mental math already. That's fantastic. 4 times 3 is 12. We're going to carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 gives us 9. We've got 92. So this is going to be equal to, we've got 92 over 1, which is just going to be equal to 92. And we're all done. We've got our final answer. We could say Wn is equal to 92. Let's go ahead and move on to our next example. 2 1/2 of 240 is what number? This problem, let's write it out. 2 1/2 of 240 is what number? So in this problem, all we have to do is the multiplication. Let's remember, we've got to turn our mixed numbers to improper fractions first. So we're going to get 5/2 times 240 over 1 is equal to Wn. We'd want to simplify before we multiply so that we get the simplest multiplication we can. Half of 240 is going to be 120. Half of 2 is 1. So our answer is going to be 5 times 120. If we go ahead and write that out, 0 times 5 is 0. 5 times 2 is 10. We're going to carry that 1. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 more gives us 6. We've got an answer of 600. So Wn is going to be equal to 600. And we've got our correct answer. 2 1/2 of 240 is 600. If you've got a question, please go ahead and write it down now. Let's move on to our next example. Now we want to evaluate, and we're going to start working with something called functional notation. If we want to evaluate, we know we're going to take this expression and we're going to say x is equal to 2. So everywhere we see x, we're going to substitute a 2 in. We always use parentheses. So we're going to get a 2, and then we've got x squared, so we're going to get 2 in parentheses again, squared, minus 3 times 2, and close off our main parentheses within this part of the problem. Let's go ahead and solve. We're going to get 2 times, well, 2 squared is 4, minus, and then we have 3 times 2, that's 6. 4 minus 6 is negative 2, and negative 2 times 2 is going to give us our final answer. Our final answer must be negative 4. And we're all done with this problem. The important part as you work through your problem is to work in the correct order of operations. Everything in parentheses first, okay, then go outside and multiply by your 2. Let's look at our next problem. Now this problem looks a little different. It says if f of x is equal to x times x squared minus 3x find f of 2. Now, another way that we could write this problem would be like this. We could say evaluate, and you do not need to copy this. And I'll tell you why in a moment. Evaluate x times x squared minus 3x if x is equal to 2. These are saying the exact same things. Okay? F of x if f of x is equal to x times x squared minus 3x, find f of 2. It's the same thing as saying evaluate x times x squared minus 3x if x is equal to 2. Now, the reason that you didn't need to write this part in red down is because we just solved it. It was equal to negative 4. X times x squared minus 3x if x is equal to 2. X times x squared minus 3x if x is equal to 2. Remember, we know that answer is negative 4. So what we're doing in this problem, we're using functional notation. And we're going to say, f of 2. So this means everywhere I see x, I'm going to put an x. Now it means everywhere where I first saw x, I'm going to put a 2. So it's going to be 2 times 2 squared minus 3 times 2. Okay, so here, this is an x, so everything in the problem is an x. This is a 2, so everywhere I saw x previously must be a 2. That's what we're using with functional notation. So if we go ahead and solve, we can say f of 2 is equal to, well, we've got 2 times 2 squared, that's 4, minus 3 times 2 is 6. Same problem as we just did. F of 2 is equal to 2 times negative 2. And our answer is going to be f of 2 is equal to negative 4. And we can report our answer just like that. F of 2 is equal to negative 4. The reason we use functional notation is because this tells us we want to solve for the function when x is equal to 2. When we solve for the function when x is equal to 2, we get an answer of negative 4. So we can have everything in shorthand right here. Let's go ahead and look at another problem before you write down any questions. Okay, if g of x is equal to x squared times 2x minus 1, find g of negative 2. So what I want to do is I want to find g of negative 2. So everywhere I saw an x previously, rather than having x's all the way across, I'm going to have negative 2's all the way across. We've got 2 times our x value is negative 2 minus 1, and now we can go ahead and solve. So g of negative 2, this is functional notation again, is equal to, well, we can do this negative 2 squared. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Then we'll do everything in our parentheses. We've got 2 times negative 2, that's negative 4. And we've got negative 4 minus 1. If we continue going, we're going to get g of negative 2 is equal to 4 times, and we've got negative 4 minus 1, that's negative 5. 4 times negative 5 must be equal to negative 20. And we report our answer with our functional notation in front, g of negative 2. That means when our x value is negative 2, our function is equal to negative 20, and we have our final answer. This is how we're going to go ahead and report it. If you've got a question, please go ahead and write it down now. We're going to continue this with our lesson practice on page 119. Please make sure you've got your notes completed, and I'll see you soon.